In this video we will start new series. What if Naruto was banished, while Boruto became the hero? Chapter 1. Before starting the video, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Naruto Uzumaki lays on his back with his chest bleeding heavily while the wound sizzles as his brother's teammate, Sasuke Uchiha, stands over him with an expression of arrogant victory on his face. He reaches down to grab Naruto's jacket with a smirk. "Why do you keep getting up, Naruto? You'll never be as strong as me, let alone Boruto. It's pathetic, really," Sasuke says, his words cutting deeper than any of his physical attacks. "Because that's my ninja way, Sasuke. No matter how many times I fall, I'll always get back up. That's what it means to be a ninja," Naruto responds, his voice raw but firm. Sasuke's expression hardens with a complexity of his emotions swirling in his dark eyes, but he drops Naruto. "You're a fool, Naruto. Chasing after someone who doesn't want to be saved," Sasuke says, and turns on his heels. "Maybe it's time you start living for yourself," he adds, vanishing. Those words were meant as a dismissal, but plants a seed in Naruto's heart as he passes out. As consciousness slowly returns to Naruto, the sterile scent of antiseptics fills his nostrils. He's lying on something soft, the beeping of machines, the only sound in the room. He tries to sit up with a groan, but a sharp pain in his chest forces him back down. But at the foot of his bed is his brother's other teammate, Sakura Haruno. "You didn't bring back Sasuke. You promised, Naruto. You promised." Sakura screams with a mixture of anger, disappointment, and hurt resonating in her voice. "I tried, Sakura. You have to believe me. I tried my best," Naruto says, breathing heavily. "But your best wasn't good enough." "Was it? You were supposed to bring him back to Konoha. To me, but you failed. How could you let him slip away?" Sakura's voice breaks, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. Naruto's hands ball into a fists at his sides. I faced him. We fought with everything we had. But in the end, Sasuke? He made his choice. And I couldn't force him to come back," he says, the pain in his throat now matching by the searing pain in his chest. Sakura takes a step forward with her anger boiling over. "So, you just gave up on him," she says, and her hand rises as if she's about to strike him. The door flies open, and Tsunade Senju enters with a clipboard. "Sakura Haruno." "That is enough," she shouts, her voice filling the room with an authoritative tone. "Lady Tsunade," Sakura says, lowering her hand, but the intensity of her emotions still palpable. "Leave now," Tsunade commands, having a stern tone. Sakura's gaze shifts between Naruto glaring back at her with a mix of pain, but also disappointment, and Tsunade, whose patience is clearly running thin. "Yes, Lady Tsunade," Sakura finally murmurs with a hint of reluctance in her voice, before turning on her heel and leaving the room, her steps quick and uneven. Tsunade's stern gaze softens as she turns to Naruto, her expression now laced with concern. She approaches the bed with her demeanor changing from the formidable Sannin to that of a worried mother. "Let me look at you, Naruto," she says, her voice carrying a softness that only those close to her ever hear. Naruto is still slightly taken aback by Sakura's earlier accusations, and now the unexpected tender care nods silently, allowing her to check his injuries. "Naruto, what happened was beyond your control. You've grown much, but there are some choices that are not ours to make," Tsunade finally speaks, her tone serious yet filled with an underlying warmth. Naruto meets her gaze with her sage-like advice reaching deep. "I know, but it's just hard," he says, but the door opens, and this time it's his twin brother Boruto, with his loyal mouse, Hinata Hyuga. There's an air of triumph about Boruto, which contrasts sharply with the solemn atmosphere of the room. Still sulking over losing to Sasuke. "Come on, bro. I heard about your little duel at the Valley of the End. And here I thought you'd at least manage a draw," Boruto says, without missing a beat, but tone is light and the dig is evident, an attempt to needle Naruto in a way only a sibling could. Hinata is looking more somber than her usual self, but steps forward. "It's not about winning or losing, Boruto, but my cousin Neji. He's dead because of the sound. Boruto, the cause has escaped justice because of your actions. Naruto, she says softly yet firmly, the pain of her loss clear in her eyes. Yeah, and let's not forget, you don't have the Kyuubi inside you. I have it, and look at me now, Boruto boasts, sensing an opportunity and puffing out his chest slightly. His taunt cuts deeper, highlighting the complex bond and rivalry that exists between the two brothers. Naruto feels the weight of their words like physical blows, the grief for Neji, and the constant comparisons to Boruto threatening to overwhelm him. Yet within him, a flicker of anger and resolve ignites, pushing back against the hurt and self-doubt. The room is tense as the earlier warmth is now replaced by a palpable chill of conflict and unspoken grievances. Tsunade's sharp gaze cuts through the tension. Boruto, Hinata, leave us, she says firmly yet without raising her voice. Boruto looks as though he wants to protest, but one stern look from Tsunade, and he heads for the door with Hinata following right behind him. Thanks, Lady Tsunade, Naruto says, once they were gone. Tsunade takes a seat next to Naruto's bed and moves with a sense of purpose, reaching out to gently pull Naruto into a comforting embrace. It's okay to feel, Naruto. It's what makes us human, Tsunade whispers, and in her arms, the dam breaks. Naruto, the ever-resilient ninja, breaks down, his body shaking with sobs. Years of pain, loneliness, and the recent heartaches pour out as Tsunade holds him, a silent pillar of strength in his moment of vulnerability. There, let it all out. You're not alone. You have people who care. More than you know, Tsunade murmurs, running a hand through his hair in a soothing gesture. Naruto whispers something only they would know, and Tsunade gives him the silent acknowledgement of his choices. Naruto would sit in his hospital room and pen several letters, but chief among them was to the Hokage Jiraiya Ogata and his brother's new sensei. The letter states that he has decided to turn in his Hitai 8 as he could no longer see himself as a Konoha ninja, and he was leaving. The others were to the Ichiraku family, his sensei Yuga Uzuki, but also his big sister figures Anko Mitarashi and Kurenai Yuhi. Each letter said the same of how sorry he would be for leaving and running away, but he needed to forge his own path. Naruto slips out of Konoha in the middle of the night with only the clothes on his back and all the money he had. He couldn't help but release a wry chuckle, the sound echoing slightly in the open air as he thought about how his life had come down to this. I suppose this is what freedom costs. Huh, Naruto mutters to himself, his voice barely above a whisper. He heads west towards the land of wind, but his destination lies further west to the fantastical western continent. He heard stories from merchants about the western lands, and it is a place of fantasy. The land of wind stretches out before him, vast and empty, yet he felt anything but isolated. Expecting pursuit from Konoha, he remains on high alert, but as miles turned into days, and it becomes clear that no one was coming after him. On the third day, as the sun dips low, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Naruto stumbles upon a caravan bound for the port city of Ikaros. The sight of the caravan, a line of camels and covered wagons, feels like a lifeline thrown to him in the middle of the desert. You can join us. You look like you could use a change of pace, an old woman says, and Naruto slowly nods. Yes, I can pay, Naruto says, trying to appear more confident than he felt. A man scans Naruto but then smiles toothily. Don't worry about it, son. We could use an extra pair of hands. What's your name, he says, extending his hand. Naruto Uzumaki, Naruto says, shaking the man's hand. Well, Naruto, welcome aboard. I'm Haru. Get ready for the ride of your life, the man Haru declares, clapping Naruto on the back and leading him into the midst of the caravan. As the caravan begins its slow crawl towards Ikaros, Naruto found himself amidst stories of sea monsters, enchanted forests and lands where the night never fell. Each tale, wilder than the last, fills him with a sense of wonder and a burning curiosity to see the world beyond his wildest dreams. I will make this journey count, Naruto thought, with a heart full of anticipation for the adventures that lay ahead and feeling truly free for the first time in years. Saw a kraken once, nearly as big as the ship it was trying to drag down, one of the travelers, an old sailor with a patch over one eye after taking a swig from his flask. A kraken? Seriously? Naruto says, and his eyes light up with excitement. Yup, and that's not the half of it. This world's full of mysteries, lad. Keep your eyes wide, the sailor adds, winking at him through his good eye. 2 weeks later, the caravan reaches Ikaros, and it didn't take long for Naruto to find a ship bound for the western lands, but there is a catch. He would have to share a room with a strange old man. Roommates, huh? Hope you don't snore, Naruto jokes as he approached the room, trying to lighten the mood. The old man lets out a hearty laugh that surprises Naruto with his jovial demeanor. I might snore louder than a bear, but I've been told it's quite the lullaby. Name's Liam, he jests back, extending a hand. Naruto Uzumaki. So, you're sharing this journey with me, huh? Naruto says, feeling an unexpected warmth from the old man in his handshake. That's right. It's always nicer to have company, especially on a journey as long as this one. And you seem like good company, Naruto, Liam said, settling into one of the room's 2 beds. The ship set sail across the ocean called the Narrow Sea, while Liam begins to regale Naruto with stories from his youth. Each tale is filled with excitement, danger, and a sense of adventure that Naruto has always craved. From battling bandits in the mountains to searching for lost treasures in deserts, Liam has lived a life that Naruto could only dream of. And then, we finally found the Cave of Echoes, but what we found inside wasn't treasure. It was a dragon, Liam said, his eyes twinkling with the memory. A dragon? Did you fight it? Naruto asks, leaning forward and captivated while Liam chuckles. Fight it? No. We sang with it. That cave had a way of capturing sound. So we sat there singing old tunes with the dragon. Never thought I'd say that, Liam says, slapping his knee. Naruto couldn't help but laugh in surprise by the twist. You're full of surprises, Liam. I thought adventurers were all about fighting and looting, he says, rubbing his knee. There's plenty of that too. But the true essence of adventure, it's the unexpected. The friendships you form and the bizarre situations you find yourself in, and the stories you have to tell, Liam admits with a shrug. Naruto nods with a realization that this journey might have more to offer him than just an escape. It could give him the adventure and the unexpected tales he'd been longing for. Thanks, Liam. I think this ride just got a lot more interesting, Naruto said, a smile forming on his face. Just wait, my boy. The western lands are full of wonders and dangers you've never imagined. You're in for quite the adventure, Liam concludes with a knowing smile, as the ship continues its course into the vast open sea. 3 days pass in a blur of sea and sky as Naruto spends his hours either at the ship's bow, watching the endless dance of waves, or listening to Liam's tales of monstrous beasts and hidden treasures, each story more fantastic than the last. What's going on? Naruto asks one evening, reaching his room, a knot of apprehension forming in his stomach. The captain and 2 others were in the room, but Naruto sees Liam on his bed but a sheet over his body. The captain takes a deep breath before speaking. My boy, I have some unfortunate news. Liam, he passed away in his sleep, he says, and Naruto feels as if the wind has been knocked out of him. He seemed fine this morning, Naruto says, rubbing his forehead. He was a fine man, full of stories and life. It even seemed like he had more tales to tell, one of the crew members interjects, his voice tinged with sadness. But he did leave something for you, the captain continues, and hands Naruto a sealed envelope. Found this by his bedside with your name on it, he adds. Naruto opens the envelope to find a letter with Liam's unmistakable handwriting. The letter is short, thanking Naruto for his company and the joy of sharing his stories with someone who appreciates them. Liam expresses his hope that these stories have fueled Naruto's sense of adventure and wishes him well on his upcoming journey. He left some things for you too, the captain says, pointing to Naruto's bed. On it lay a leather satchel and a silver 44-inch ring hilt, longsword with a matching dagger. The pommel and guard were made of steel, and the grip was of wood wrapped in leather. The wood core scabbard is bound in leather and completed with fittings of steel with steel hanging rings. Naruto is speechless for a moment with a mix of sorrow and gratitude welling up inside him. He looks up at the captain and the crew members, nodding his thanks as he approaches his bed. I didn't know Liam very long, but his stories, they meant a lot to me, Naruto managed to say, his voice thick with emotion. The captain places a firm hand on Naruto's shoulder. He saw something in you, lad. Carry his stories with you and make him proud, the large man says, patting his shoulder. Naruto grabs the sword, dagger, his things, and the satchel as the crew members lead him to a new room. Naruto is left alone in his new cabin with the sea breeze softly blowing through the open window, before carefully drawing the longsword as its balance and craftsmanship exquisite. Yugao-sensei would gush over this, Naruto thought, and opens the satchel to find several scrolls, a map of the western lands, and some money, but also a compass. Naruto has a renewed sense of purpose, as Liam had entrusted these things to him for his adventure ahead. The vast, mysterious western lands await him, and along with it, a path full of unknown wonders and perils. A week later, Naruto arrives in the western lands in the port city of Tamon. It is a place unlike any he has seen before, bustling with life and diversity. Beast people walk alongside elves and dwarves, and knights in shining armor patrol the streets. Naruto's eyes widen in wonder, and he could nightly barely contain his excitement. First time in Tamon, lad, a gruff voice says, and Naruto turns his to see a dwarf with an impressive beard, eyeing him curiously. Yeah, and it's amazing, Naruto replies, his enthusiasm barely contained. You'll find plenty of amazing things here, lad. Just keep your wits about you, the dwarf says, and chuckles but sees Naruto's longsword in his right hand. That's a fine blade you've got there. Where'd you get it, he adds. From a friend named Liam. He gave it to me before died on the journey here, Naruto says, sadly, and the dwarf named Gimli perks up. He grabs Naruto by the hand with a strength that belied his small stature. We're going to my shop, Gimli says, dragging Naruto down the busy streets of Tamon, weaving through the crowd with determination. Naruto allows himself to be pulled along and, despite the whirlwind introduction to Tamon, couldn't help but feel a new chapter of his adventure is about to begin. Back in Konoha, news of Naruto's departure has spread like wildfire, and igniting a variety of reactions among his former peers. I can't believe he actually left? Maybe now things can go back to normal, and we can focus on trying to find Sasuke, Sakura said, her tone mixed with disbelief and a hint of relief. Yeah, we can focus on things without any distractions, Boruto says, but in the seal on his stomach, the QB snorts. Hinata nods with Boruto's sentiment as Naruto gone from Konoha, and will no longer weigh her love down. Well, maybe he's out there finding his true path, Kiba says, trying to lighten the mood. Naruto's actions always had deeper motivations. Perhaps he felt overshadowed within Konoha, Shino says, ever the observer. He should, he's my inferior twin, Boruto thought, and again QB snorts. It's strange for Naruto to just leave. Just after Sasuke did, there must have been something really pushing him away, Ino chimes in, twirling a strand of her blonde hair. Shikamaru is lounging nearby with his hands behind his head. Troublesome. Naruto leaving correlates with his treatment and failing to bring back Sasuke. Him leaving is not an immediate problem, but it might create more in the future. What a drag, he says, letting out a sigh. Choji is munching on a bag of chips and nods in agreement. Yeah, I'm worried about him. It's not like Naruto to run away from his problems, he says, eating a chip. We don't know the whole story. It's not like Naruto to leave without a good reason. I hope he finds what he's looking for. Tenten comments, and Lee nods in agreement with that, shouting about Naruto's youthful fire. Meanwhile, in the Hokage's office, Jiraiya convenes a serious discussion with the village's 3 venerable elders. The topic at hand was Naruto's abrupt departure, and the symbolic gesture of him turning in his Hitai 8. Homura and one of the elders is wearing an expression of disdain. The boy has always the useless son of our Yondaime compared to his brother Boruto. It's perhaps for the best that he has left, he said, shaking his head. Regardless of your opinions, Naruto is still the son of our Yondaime. We cannot simply disregard his potential because he does not possess the QB. Who knows what kinds of power or alliances he could be forging as we speak, Koharu says, ever the pragmatic one. Useless remains useless. No matter where he goes, his departure changes nothing for Konoha. Our focus should be on Boruto and the shinobi who remain loyal to our cause, Danzo comments. His voice was as dismissive as it was cold. While I hear your points, Boruto is gifted and fostering his talents is crucial. But have we considered that ignoring Naruto might be a grave mistake? Though I must admit, part of me doubts Naruto is doing anything of significant use wherever he is. Our resources should focus on enhancing Boruto's abilities. Orochimaru has Sasuke in his clutches, and it will be 3 years before he can take him over. We use it to get Boruto as strong as possible, Jiraiya said, his tone a mix of contemplation and resolve. In another part of Konoha is Tsunade in her office at the hospital, having a heart-to-heart discussion with her apprentice, Shizune, Yugao, or Neko, and Naruto's sensei, but also his pseudo-sisters, Anko, and Kurenai. Each expressed their concerns and reflections on Naruto's departure. I know each of you had a unique bond with Naruto. It was hard to see him leave, but deep down, do we all agree? He deserves this freedom, Tsunade says with a sigh. Yes, Tsunade-sama. Naruto always fought for everyone's happiness but his own. It's time he searched for his, Shizune says, ever the supporter. As his sensei, I've seen his struggles up close. If finding himself means leaving Konoha, then so be it. I just hope he finds the peace he's looking for, Yugao says, looking thoughtful. Anko, with her usual fiery spirit, leans forward. That kid's got more guts and heart than half the shinobi in this village. If anyone can make it on their own, it's Naruto. He's gonna prove a lot of people wrong, she says, smirking. Naruto has always had a way of surprising us, even if his path takes him far from Konoha. I believe we'll feel the impact of his journey. Let's just support him from afar, Kurenai says with a soft smile. Each of them, in their own way, understood the importance of Naruto's decision to leave. Despite their worries, they accept and respect his need to forge his own path, hoping one day their paths would cross again under happier circumstances. Back in Tama, Naruto found himself sitting in Gimli's shop, the long sword given to him by Liam placed between them on the wooden table that seems ancient. The spacious room is filled with artifacts, and the scent of oil and metal seems to whisper tales of countless battles and forgotten heroes. The seasoned blacksmith Gimli is known throughout the land for his skill in crafting weapons of legend, leans closer, his eyes sparkling with pride as he spoke. This sword is known as Gungir, and it was forged using mithril, a metal resembling silver but being stronger and lighter than steel. Weapons and armor forged in mithril are rare, but they conduct magic well. They never chip or break either, Gimli explains, and his arms folded, his gaze fixated on Naruto as if weighing his worth. Wow, but what's magic? Naruto asks, running his hand along Gungir and intrigued by the new term but also the foreign yet familiar energy it embodied. It's what you call chakra across the narrow sea. Here it's used different. Your sage spread chakra to humans and demis, but the long ears and we dwarves have always used it, Gimli explains, his tone suggesting a depth of history and knowledge beyond Naruto's understanding of his own powers. I can't believe Liam gave me such a weapon, Naruto says, a sense of awe mixing with gratitude as he rubs his leg thoughtfully and contemplating the weight of the generosity extended toward him. Aye, but he must have saw something in you, lad. Now what you plan to do? Gimli asks, eyeing the young blonde. The question hangs in the air, dense with the weight of expectation and the unspoken past Naruto carries with him. The 16-year-old didn't have an immediate answer. I want to forge my own path. I've been overshadowed my whole life by my brother. Our home praises him while seeing me as useless. So here I want to forge my own way, Naruto says, his voice steady and gripping his knees as if trying to anchor himself in his conviction. Ya got spirit, lad, but if you want to survive, ya need coin. I know some folks who could help you with it. If you're willing to do some hard work, Gimli says, stroking his beard thoughtfully, a knowing look in his eyes suggesting the depth of his connections and the opportunities they could afford. I'm willing to do anything to start anew and prove I'm more than just someone's shadow, Naruto says, nodding and the determination in his gaze firm. The air in the shop seems to hum with the promise of adventure, and Naruto feels a stir of excitement, a sense that finally, he is about to embark on the journey he was meant for. This is his chance to step out from under the legacy of Konoha and his family, to prove his worth on his own terms. With a weapon like Gunder at his side, and the support of an unlikely ally, he is ready to face whatever the Western continent had in store for him. As the night begins to fall, Gimli offers Naruto a place to rest. You've got a long journey ahead of you, lad. Best to start it with a good night's rest, Gimli said, clapping Naruto on the back with a sturdy hand. Thank you, Gimli. I won't forget this, Naruto says grateful, not just for the bed but for the generosity. The next morning, Naruto awakes to the smell of freshly baked bread and the sound of Gimli bustling around the shop. After a hearty breakfast, they left Hamon, and as they walk, Gimli shares stories about the lands they were passing through and the people who live there. It's a small farming town we're headed to. Not much in the way of excitement, but it's got good people. One of them is an old friend of mine named Isane Kotetsu. He could use a strong back to help with the latest harvest, Gimli explains as they trek through the gently rolling hills. What's he like? Naruto asks, absorbing every bit of information. He was knight in his youth but lost his leg. Married? His sons are knights. Daughter a healer and mage. Same with his granddaughter about your age, I think, Gimli explains, as they near the small town. Naruto couldn't help but marvel at how different this life is from the one he had left behind. No towering structures or bustling markets, just the peaceful existence of those who work the land under the open sky. As Gimli and Naruto head through town to find Hiram's farm, the latter's gaze inadvertently meets with a young girl with silver hair and kind gray eyes. She pauses in her path with a basket of fresh produce in her arms, and offers Naruto a curious, albeit gentle smile. Beautiful, Naruto thought, giving a smile and wave back as Gimli sees this but says nothing. They soon find the farm as people were hard at work, and their movements synchronized with the rhythms of rural life. There. That's Hiram's place. Let's see if the old bear's around, Gimli says, and points towards a house on the hill, its presence overlooked by a sizable barn nearby. Hiram, you old bear, show yourself. Got someone here keen on meeting you, Gimli calls out. The door to the house opens after a moment, and out steps a bear of a man with silver hair and leaning heavily on a cane, his presence undeniable even with a leg missing. His eyes are sharp and discerning, but immediately land on Naruto. Gimli. What brings you here and with a young one in tow? Hiram says, his tone carrying a gruff warmth. Hiram, meet Naruto. He's looking to prove himself. He's from the east. Figured he could lend a hand with your harvest, Gimli says with a grin. Hiram's gaze intensifies as he looks Naruto over, but then softens as he offers his hand. Well, any friend of Gimli is a friend of mine. Welcome, Naruto. Let's see if those hands are just for show, or if you can actually put them to some use, he says, laughing a bit. I'm ready to learn and help, sir. I'm not afraid of hard work, Naruto says, accepting the handshake with determination. The corners of Hiram's mouth lifts into a small but approving smile. Sir, he says, you might make a farmer yet. Let's get you started. We've got a long day ahead, he says, preparing to usher him inside and stow his things. Gimli nods to Naruto with a proud smile before taking his leave. You're in good hands, lad. Show them what you're made of. Come see sometimes. I'll tell you some more stories, he says, and Naruto shakes his hand with a nod. Let's get you settled in. You can stow your things in my son's old rooms. They're serving as knights, Hiram says, and Naruto nods, following him inside. The house has a warm and lived-in feel with pictures of family adorning the walls, but also the smell of years of home-cooked meals lingering in the air. I've got some old clothes you can change into for work. They might be a bit big on you, but they'll do for now. Hiram continues, leading Naruto to a modest room. Thank you, Hiram. I'm not used to kindness like this, Naruto says, appreciative of the simplicity. Hiram chuckles and claps Naruto on the back. Nonsense. You're helping me out around here. It's the least I can do. Besides my wife Clara, she'd have my head if I didn't treat you right. She and my granddaughter Isane are at the market now, but they'll want to meet you when they get back, Hiram says, and grabs some pants, a tunic shirt, and boots. That sounds great, Naruto said, the warmth in his chest growing. Don't worry, kid. We're simple folks, but we're good people. You'll fit right in, Hiram assures him, leaving Naruto to unpack. Naruto gets dressed, and Hiram leads him to the vast fields, a sea of yellow that whisper under the caress of the wind. You'll be helping me with the harvest. It's simple but hard work. We start at dawn and keep at it till we're done. Hiram explains and points to a few others with sickles. He hands Naruto a sickle, and the blonde summons a handful of clones as each grab a sickle and getting to work. Hiram's eyes widen in surprise and his jaw dropping slightly at the sight. Well, You've got some tricks up your sleeve, Naruto. I reckon we'll finish much quicker with these, he mutters, watching the clones work with efficient speed. It's one of the few things I'm good at. I hope it's all right, Naruto said, a bit of pride in his voice. Hiram lets out a hearty laugh and shaking his head in disbelief. All right? Son, this is incredible. Clara won't believe this when I tell her. To think I was worried about making the deadline, he says. Naruto feels a warmth in his heart at the sight of interest in Hiram's eyes, a feeling he hadn't felt in quite a while. He begins his work as Hiram sits on a tree stump, the field in front of him bustling with the activity of Naruto and his duplicates. What was your life in the East? Hiram calls out. I lived in hidden village in fire country called Konoha no Sato, but it wasn't the best, Naruto says, his tone a mix of reflective and open. Hiram is intrigued and leans closer with his demeanor showing that he's fully invested in what Naruto has to share. How so? He asks, furrowing his brow. Well, I have a twin brother named Boruto. He is considered the golden boy. Everything I did was compared to Boruto, or that's how others saw it too. I was always the one lagging behind, at least in their eyes. Our parents were heroes of our village. I was always less than in him. Then my brother's teammate betrayed the village, and I fought him but nearly died. Instead of worrying, many didn't care. Save a small few, so I left, Naruto explains, coming to sit next to Hiram. You've lived a tough life, Hiram says, his expression a soft one and patting the blonde on the shoulder. Naruto nods and goes back to help his clones after a few minutes as sun beats down on him and climbs higher, casting long shadows across the field. His clones make quick work of the area they were in, and soon it is time for lunch. Naruto follows Hiram back as other workers join them and greet Naruto, while heading for the barn where several tables were set up. Hiram, who do we have here? A woman asks, noticing Naruto, and he guesses this is Hiram's wife Clara. This is Naruto. Gimli brought this young man to help us out with the harvest. Naruto, this is my wife Clara. Hiram introduces and Naruto bows. Pleased to meet you, Naruto, Clara said with a warm smile, extending a hand, and Naruto shakes it with a smile. Thank you for having me, Naruto says, but his eyes widen as the silver hair girl comes into the barn. I have the plate's grandmother, the girl says, but sees Naruto and smiles. That's our granddaughter Isane, Hiram says, and this meeting would have lasting but good repercussions. 6 months have passed since Naruto left Konoha for the western continent, meeting Gimli in Tamon, and the dwarf introduces him to Hiram and his wife Clara, but also their granddaughter Isane. His days were helping in the fields, dealing with monsters plaguing the area, continuing his training and learning to use Gunnar with Hiram's help. Clara teaches him to cook and about local legends like Muteki Shin, a greater dragon shrouded in legend, and the enigmatic but dangerous black spider of calamity. Naruto also slowly becomes friends with Isane and learns she is generally quiet, shy, but also observant with a strong sense of loyalty. She also is self-conscious of her height, which is about 5 feet 10 inches, compared to his 5 feet 6 inches height. Isane should be coming with lunch soon. Naruto thought, looking to the sun and gauging the time. He goes back to working the field to get it ready, but a shadow looms over him, and Naruto looks up, as his eyes widen in shock. A majestic oriental dragon with long hair that looks like mist, long flowing whiskers, long antlers, sharp teeth, reptilian eyes, 4 toes on each foot, and a long serpentine body. Who dares disturb the solitude of Muteki Shin? The dragon booms, yet there is a hint of curiosity in their tone. Naruto is startled but didn't back down with a small gulp. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I'm not here to disturb anyone, he says, but here's Isane call out his name. Muteki Shin sees Isane and Naruto uses Kawarimi with her falling basket to appear in front of the silver hair girl, bringing out Guniger from a seal on his hand. Such courage to protect, Shine says, titling her head, but a chuckling echoes, and all of them see a very large black spider. To that's the black spider of calamity in Muteki Shin, Isane whispers, wishing she had her staff to help. I'll figure a way to get us out of this, Naruto says, his eyes flicking between both. Shin and Black Spider share a look of something unspoken passing between them. Naruto notices this and feeling the weight of the moment but stands tall to protect Isane, his resolve firm in this. There is an air about you, human, and it is intriguing. You seek power not for conquest but to protect. A rare trait, Shin says, her voice softer but yet still commanding. I agree. He knows we are powerful yet stands defiant, and his magic smells divine. Black Spider says, her tone laced with amusement. Naruto grips Gunir tightly with his eyes locking on both. I do. I fight to protect, rather power for power's sake, he says, firm in his tone. Shin stares at Naruto and Isane with her draconic eyes piercing, but after a moment of silence. Then, Naruto Uzumaki. You have caught my interest, so let us form a contract. Your resolve in exchange for guidance. But beware, the paths ahead are fraught with peril, she says, making the proposition. A contract with this human? This is new, but I suppose there's a first time for everything, Black Spider says, a sharpness in her 8 eyes. Naruto feels the gravity of their offer, but also the opportunity. I understand, and I accept your terms, he says and lowers Gundyr. Are you sure, Naruto? Isane says, concerned for his well-being. I am. I feel like this will change things for the better, Naruto says as Shin prepares to seal the contract. Let us try the power distribution in the bond. First, we will attempt a 50-50 split, Shin suggests, and leans her snout forward with Black Spider, moving one of her legs as Naruto nods, not fully understanding, but willing to trust and seal Gunjir away. He touches her snout and Black Spider's leg as he feels their energy entering him, but the equal share proves too unstable, leading to a brief surge that dissipates harmlessly. Shin and the Black Spider exchange glances, perhaps more in his favor, 70-30. Black Spider suggests, but that fails as well. You must be stronger than you realize. Human, she adds, seeing Naruto slightly winded but unharmed. 80-20 in your favor. Let's see if this suits your human limits, Shin remarks, a slight tone of respect creeping into her voice. A large puff of smoke envelopes them with the bond finally stabilized, knocking Naruto to the ground with the force of the connection as Isane rushes to his side. He coughs looking up Shin and Black Spider with a mix of astonishment and gratitude. Shin is now a beautiful young woman with wavy waist-length blue hair tied up in a ponytail, with a chest-length hair strand hanging on the left side, red reptilian eyes, and a curvaceous figure. She is dressed in a Konoha Jonin outfit of a dark blue long-sleeve shirt and matching cargo pants with a fitted green flak vest, a red scarf around her neck, but also combat boots. Amazing, Shin says, examining her new form. Black Spider is a stunning woman with sleek black hair, intense yellow eyes highlighted by a red headband not in bloom, black lace gloves, and wearing a luxurious black and red kimono in the style yukata, the hem decorated with white frills, a sight that perfectly captured her dangerous elegance. Given our unexpected transformation, perhaps adopting new names would be appropriate. What do you think Naruto Uzumaki Black Spider suggests, looking to the blonde? Naruto gets to his feet and dusts his rear with a glance to Isane. Sure. How about Tomoe for Shin and Mio for you, he says, looking over their forms. Tomoe. I like it. It carries a certain strength, a spirit of the warrior, Tomoe says, her draconic prestige shining through her human guise. Mio? It's softer and more human. Very well, Naruto Uzumaki. I accept this name you've given me, Mio says, the corners of her mouth curling up in a playful smirk. This is unbelievable, Naruto. Do you realize what you've done? My grandparents will have their jaws touching the ground when they ever found out you've managed to form contracts with both Muteki Shin, a greater dragon, and the Black Spider of Calamity, Isane says, her voice teemed with a blend of awe and concern. Your grandparents need not fear. My now loyalty to Naruto isn't just born of the contract, but of respect and genuine admiration for his spirit, Tomoe says and grins. Plus, I want to learn your shinobi techniques, she adds, clapping Naruto on the back. And let's be honest, shocking the old folks might just be a little bit of fun. Being human now comes with its perks, and I'm quite keen on exploring all aspects of this new life. Under Naruto's guidance, of course, Mio adds with a mischievous wink. Isane processes the scene before her and lets out a soft laugh. Well, Naruto, you truly are full of surprises. Also Tomoe. Mio, welcome to the chaos that seems to follow him, she says, shaking her head in disbelief. I don't think it's too much chaos, Naruto says, an easy grin on his face. They pick up the basket that was dropped in their excitement from earlier and journey back to Hiram's farm. Hiram and Clara were sitting outside as the two grandparents see Isane, Naruto, but two unknown people. Isane? Naruto, my boy? Who are they? Hiram says, pausing to wipe the sweat off his brow with the back of his hand. Hiram? I want you and Clara to meet Tomoe and Mio. They're very special. As in Muteki Shin and the Black Spider of Calamity, Naruto says, gesturing toward Tomoe and Mio. Hiram's eyes widen as his wife is usually surprised, but it didn't take long for his usual warm smile to return. I'll be Naruto. You always did have a knack for making the impossible into the possible, he says, knowing well the stories that have fluttered about the two. The two of us formed contracts with Naruto due to his latent power, Tomoe says, offering a respectful nod towards the couple. Well then, I suppose it's good to have friends in high, or should I say formidable places. Come on in. Lunch is almost ready. And goodness knows we've plenty to discuss, Clara says, stepping forward to usher them towards the farmhouse. They enjoy Clara's hearty cooking, but Hiram brings up a topic that piqued everyone's interest. Since the harvest is over, and with the contracts to Mio and Tomoe, how about you become an adventurer? You can form a party with Isane. Tomoe and Mio, he says, casting a knowing look towards his granddaughter, who blushes at the mention of her name. That sounds like a great idea. The West is vast, and there's so much we can learn. It would be good, and we can do much good. Though, are you sure about Isane? Naruto asks, turning to look at Isane for her reaction. I like that. Venturing with Naruto and everyone else would be an honor. I may not be as strong or as experienced, but I'll do my best. Isane stammers, caught off guard by the sudden attention. Forming a party does sound promising. Our journey has only just begun, and together we can face whatever comes our way. I can help train Isane, Tomoe says, nodding in approval. After the lunch settles and the buzz of excitement slightly dies down, Clara finds the perfect opportunity to pull her granddaughter aside. They step out into the freshness of the open air, where the noise from within become a distant echo. Isane, dear, I've noticed how you've been around Naruto. There's a certain sparkle in your eyes, Clara begins, her voice laced with a mix of concern and curiosity. Isane's cheeks flushes a shade of red and contrasts her tall but elegant frame, which suddenly seems to slump in shyness. Grandma? Yes, I do like him. But I'm so tall. Why would someone like Naruto ever go for a girl like me, she confesses, her voice barely above a whisper. Clara chuckles softly with her experienced eyes twinkling with wisdom. Isane, my dear, love isn't measured by the inches you stand tall. It's the size of your heart that matters. And Naruto is not a shallow stream to be swayed by the superficial. He of all people knows the value of what's within, she says, taking Isane's hands. Isane has hope flickering in her gaze as her grandmother's words igniting a warmth within her. Do you really think so, Grandma? She asks, and Clara smiles. With all my heart. Besides, you're a remarkable young woman, Isane. Any person would be lucky to have your affection, Clara affirms, placing a tender hand on her granddaughter's shoulder. As they walk back to rejoin the others, the sense of anticipation and adventure has grown. Not just for the journey ahead, but for the possibilities it could hold for each of them, especially for Isane. As nightfall comes, Naruto sits on the loft of the barn to watch the full moon, enjoying the peacefulness of the night. Isane, at the urging of her grandparents, gathers her courage and goes up to see him and climbs the ladder. Naruto, can I join you? Isane asks, her voice steady but betraying her nervousness. Naruto is surprised, but pleased, and pats the space beside him. Sure, Isane. The view's better with company, he says, with a warm smile as Isane takes a seat next to him. The stars above them were like the light in her grandmother's eyes. This encouraging and bright. Naruto, I've been wanting to tell you something, she starts, her voice more confident now. Yeah, what's up? Naruto says, his expression open and attentive. It's just that, well, I like you, Naruto, more than just a friend, Isane confesses, her eyes not leaving his. There is a moment of silence, and not awkward but filled with the weight of her words under the moonlit sky. Naruto's expression softens as usual, demeanor gives way to a more serious one. Isane, I'm touched, really. I never thought someone as amazing as you could feel that way about me, he said sincerely. So, does that mean? Isane says, her heart skipping a beat. It means that I would be honored to get to know you better. Beyond just adventure companions and friends. I've always admired how you are, Isane. Your courage tonight only proves that. Naruto continues, and a smile brighter than any star in the sky spread across Isane's face as they sit together to watch the moon with the possibilities seemed endless. Naruto, Isane, Tomoe, and Mio were walking through the bustling heart of the city of Tsuiga. Isane is walking next to him with her staff in her right hand and her left interlocked with his right. It's been weeks since her tearful goodbye with her grandparents, but having Naruto eased the sadness. They reach the Adventurers Guild and sees many adventurers milling about or at the board looking at jobs. As they reach the counter, the clerk eyes them curiously, especially noticing the unusual aura surrounding the trio. Names, the clerk asks, quill poised over the record book. Naruto Uzumaki, Tomoe, Mio and Isane Kotetsu. Naruto responds confidently and the clerk jots down their names. Classes for the registration, the clerk asks, grabbing 4 dog tags. Naruto thought for a moment with his chin cupped. Swordsman for me. Ninja for Tomoe. Tank for Mio and healer for Isane, he says, hoping that would fly. The clerk finishes the registration and stamping their documents. Welcome. F. Rank adventurers. May your journeys be filled with glory and tales worth telling, he says, giving them documents and dog tags. Now that we're registered, we need proper gear for you, Tomoe says, dragging him towards a shop filled with adventure gear. The 3 women search through the various armors, clothes, and weapon accessories. He settles on baggy black pants, black boots to his calves and white laces, leather strap-on leg protectors that secure behind his legs. A black form-fitting long-sleeve shirt with silver accents that outline his muscles, and a metal plate on his collar. A sleeveless adventurer surcoat to his calf. It is open in the front and closes above the waist. It fastens with 4 antique brass swivel clasps and has a round neckline, lastly a leather belt sword holster. Looks good, Tomoe says, handing him a pair of black gloves. How about Isane? Mio says, coming with Isane in a new outfit. She wears a long white tunic belted at the waist, a long dark green skirt and black boots. Her tunic is long sleeve, covers the neck, has simple green lining on the sleeves and is pleated down the middle in the front. Lastly, a purple cape clasped with a green jewel at the front. The party of 4 leave the shop and head to find an inn as Naruto looks up at the sky. Liam, watch over me from the Pure Land, he thought, smiling at the clouds. Finally, they find an inn that seems cozy and affordable, perfect for their needs. Naruto handles the booking, securing rooms for a few days as the sunset paints the city in a warm golden hue. The next day comes quickly. The morning light emboldens their spirits as they set off toward the Adventurers Guild. Today marks our official foray into the adventurers' ranks. I can't help but feel excited, Naruto says, his steps confident. Starting as F-rank adventurers. Let's show them what we're made of, Tomoe says, her eyes gleaming with amusement. Starting at F-rank seems much too low for us, Mio says, eating some muffins from a bag. Every step is a learning opportunity. Together, we'll rise through the ranks and not just as adventurers but as companions on a journey greater than ourselves, Isane says, being the voice of calm. The group arrive at the guild before making their way to the job board, but they could feel the curiosity and to an extent, scrutiny of the other adventurers in the hall. Some people glance over, their eyes lingering on Tomoe and Mio, with particular interest, perhaps recognizing the distinct air of strength and mystery that surround them. Isane's eyes scan the quests available on the board for F ranks. Let's start small and work our way up. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step after all, she says, seeing a collect herbs quest. You're right, just like the D-rank mission back home. It starts with one step, Naruto says, and grabs the collect herbs quest, which signifies the beginning of his journey to find his place in the world. This is the end of Chapter 1. See you in the next chapter.